could be the last day that you see this scenery around me. It could be the next to the last day, actually. But anyway, my jury service has lasted 3 weeks instead of the usual 2 weeks because I've been on an ongoing trial. So there's that. But guys, throughout the 3 weeks, I've been doing a couple of hours of work a day, either early in the morning or at lunchtime. Get lots of breaks while you're on jury service, so lots of opportunities to do work. Obviously my teaching has had to be covered, and up to today, which is Thursday, my institution, I work at a university, for anybody who's brand new to the channel and doesn't know. I work at a UK university, and lectures, teaching, all scheduled, timetable things are still running. Meetings have either been cancelled or have been scheduled to be undertaken online, which is good, but the actual teaching itself, where students congregate, that's still ongoing. There was some Vice Chancellor from University of West England, I think, which is in Bristol, has said that actually universities in the UK can't shut down, because what would students do? The students who are living in halls of residence, they'd actually be safer going home. This Vice-Chancellor has said that universities are not big schools, it's not the same kind of system. Indeed it isn't, it's worse. It's worse than schools, because at least in schools, children, they're being supervised by their parents. At university, everybody's an adult. But, you know, there are many young adults who are living away from home for the first time. They may be undertaking social behaviours that children wouldn't undertake. You know, all the socialising that students do. And I'm tarring every single student with the same brush here, because, you know, certainly at my institution we have a lot of mature students who just come in, do their work and go home again back to their families. But that's a problem. It's all a big problem, right? The halls of residence, the lectures, the travelling, the commuting, the amount of commuting, it all needs to stop. It needs to shut down, and it needs to shut down now. So I'm not going to lie, I'm really not looking forward to going back to work next week, because I feel that it's a much more of a risky situation than I've been in for the last 3 weeks. I've been travelling daily into a city where there are known cases. You know, once I'm in the court, there's a relatively small amount of people, and, you know, just statistical risk, if that means anything at all in a situation like this, I think it's much, much greater at my workplace than it is in a courtroom. But I am allowed to work from home on days when I'm not teaching, so it means that I'm not doing a daily commute for the time being. So my next scheduled teaching is next Tuesday, so I suppose things might change by then. Things are changing daily. As of last night, there was only 456 cases in the UK, which doesn't seem like a lot. It's more than what I would have predicted using the 6-day doubling time epidemiology. But yet again, as I said in my math video, we need to take into account that it looks like cases rise rapidly at the beginning of an epidemic because of the increased amount of testing. But it does seem that the numbers, the way that I calculated it in the math video, it does seem that the numbers will be a lot higher than I predicted using that 6-day doubling time model. So there's that. In Italy, an Italian doctor has gone on record saying that their systems are completely overwhelmed, and you know, they're a developed nation, they've got good health care. And again, I predicted in my math video that our NHS, our National Health Service, would be completely overrun very, very quickly. And I rather fear that is going to be worse than even I anticipated. And I saw this thing coming, guys. I'm taking no pleasure in saying I told you so. We should have shut down weeks ago. Hong Kong shut down and they've fared much better, whilst cases in Europe are absolutely skyrocketing because they've been allowed to incubate, they've been allowed to fester, and we're now seeing the issues, the massive issues with that. It's very sad. It's very sad indeed. There's been an emergency budget in the UK and the NHS has been promised everything it needs. We've let this thing fester. When will people listen? Very windy, folks. I've just been listening in my ears to a press conference with our Prime Minister Boris Johnson and some medical advisors, and we've now entered the delay phase. We're apparently 4 weeks behind Italy, Germany and France were behind them as well. So the advice is, if you've got a cough or a temperature, high temperature, you've got to stay at home for 7 days and wait it out. If you're an old person, don't go on a cruise, but otherwise it's business as usual. Because apparently that's what the science tells us. Right, so we're a month behind Italy. Now, initially, Italy didn't know they had a problem, right? That's how it took a hold, and that's why it spread so fast. Same in Wuhan. The Chinese were maybe in denial a little bit. They were suppressing the information, and therefore the disease took hold. We know that this is building. They believe that the epidemic in Britain is going to reach a peak in a few weeks' time. We've got to wait for it to get bad before we take action. What's the problem with that? Because we know that if we don't take action, it's going to get worse. We know from past examples, and we know from places that have taken immediate action, like Hong Kong, the situation doesn't get worse. I understand that we need to build up some kind of level of immunity in the population. Isolating, shutting down and making sure the spread is slow, surely we should be taking action on that now rather than waiting for it to get bad. You see where I'm going with that thought? You see where I'm going with my process there? Guys, do you see it? Do you see it? Alright, so Friday morning, D-Day for the court case. It's still very windy. One more day of travelling into the city that I've been going to for the last 3 weeks. And as I've been travelling by bus instead of train, it's just brought it home to me just how much traffic moves from one town to another every single day, backwards and forwards. Even though UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson, in a speech yesterday and in subsequent interviews, has said that even though families are going to lose loved ones before the time, that doesn't matter, because we don't want to isolate people before we need to. So we're going to wait for it to get bad. We're going to wait for people to die, and then we're going to react. Instead of doing what numerous other countries have done, such as Hong Kong, Thailand, who've controlled the spread almost from day one, and it's worked for them. I watched an interview with the ex-health minister, Jeremy Hunt, and this is probably the one and only time that I would agree with Jeremy Hunt, but he said the time to act is now. He doesn't think what our current government is doing is right. We should be taking more drastic measures No. So why aren't we? France is going to close schools. The US have created turmoil because in good old Donald Trump style, he hasn't thought things through, but at least they're imposing a travel ban. Numerous other countries, Denmark, have shut down, even the Republic of Ireland. So there's a strange situation going on the island of Ireland at the moment, in that the Republic of Ireland have closed schools, public gatherings, etc. They've taken examples from those numerous other countries and they've shut down. But it's an open border between the Irish Republic and Northern Ireland, which is actually part of the UK. So people are freely travelling from Northern to the Republic of Ireland daily for work and travel and whatever. And it's only a very small island. And it just shows just how crazy the UK is being. We've got 4 weeks before things get really bad. In those 4 weeks, we could stem the spread. We could prevent thousands of people becoming seriously ill. Our National Health Service completely overwhelmed. We could prevent our loved ones dying by taking actions now. But no, we don't want to do it too soon because people get fed up of it. Will they? Will they really? So what? Make them do it anyway. Surely it's better to be bored for a few weeks than watch people die. And it's not just, remember, it's not just people dying from this disease. Once healthcare systems become completely overwhelmed, there won't be the systems in place to deal with other types of condition as well. But the half-assed way that the UK government have dealt with this thing has meant that people don't understand the enormity of it, and that's really the real problem. Someone in my comments wondered whether vegans as opposed to omnivores and carnivores would be more likely to contract the disease. Don't know, but honestly I think everybody who comes into contact with the disease will get it, because our immune systems are completely naive to it. What might make a difference, apart from things like age and immune function, is the degree of good health someone has. So if you've got a pre-existing condition like heart disease, chest problems, then you're more likely to become seriously ill. Whether a long-term dietary protocol will in some way protect you, I wouldn't like to say, but honestly I don't think it will matter. If you think you're fine and you're healthy, so it doesn't matter to you, as people are saying all over social media, oh well, there's none in my area, therefore it doesn't matter. Even if you're 100,000,000% healthy and you're only going to contract the virus and perhaps have no symptoms, but just incubate it for a while and pass it on, you've got to remember that this is infectious even when people are asymptomatic. If there's any viral load at all in their body, even if they're asymptomatic, they can still pass on the disease. That's the issue with children. So even if there's none at the moment in your area, if you feel you're not at risk, so what? Protect others.